What's up, fantastic people? Happy Monday. My name is Lauren, and this is a guide to happiness. Hello and welcome back to a Guide to Happiness. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different for you guys, something that I really enjoy, and I hope that you guys will like it. I'm going to be painting some things and doing a little bit of string art, so I thought that would be a really cool tutorial for you. I'm on my Pinterest board for art ideas right now, and what we're going to be doing today is this one right here. Now this picture is actually painted on there, so mine's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to do the words in string instead of painting them on the canvas. Okay, so what you'll need for this is a canvas. I'm using the artist Loft 12x12. They're really good quality, and you can find them at pretty much any art store that you want to. You also need some string. I chose the blue palette just because we're going to be doing a blue painting. You also need needles, and you'll need to make sure that they're large needles. These are for Tapestry because you'll have to put the string through that, so they'll have to be pretty large. I also have an artist palette as well. You can use a paper plate though, no big deal, just a water cup. And then I have sponges and a paintbrush. I use both, but you can use one or the other, it's not a big deal. And then of course your paint, and I use the apple barrel paints. They're just acrylic paints and they dry really fast. You can find them at Walmart or just at any art store as well. You also need a printout of what you'll be painting today, and you also need a push pen to poke the holes in. You're also going to need some paper towels, some painter's tape, some scissors, and a pencil. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to paint our canvas, and I'm just going to start from the bottom. Okay, so now while your painting is drying, you're going to take a Sharpie, the picture that you want to paint, and just a piece of copy paper. You're going to take the Sharpie and you're just going to go around the outline of your painting picture. Okay, so now that you got it all traced, you're going to take your copy paper and put it over it. You're just going to take like a little piece of painter's tape. You can also use Scotch tape, doesn't matter. Just kind of any tape that you want to. Just bear in mind that for me, I like to use painter's tape because it doesn't tear very easily. If you use Scotch tape, there's a possibility that you may tear it and then you have to do it all over again, so just something to keep in mind. You want just like little pieces just to hold the paper in place so that it doesn't move, because if it moves, then your outline's not going to be very good. And then just make sure that you're not covering up any of the letters from below. So the reason that we traced it in Sharpie was just so we could see it through the paper. And we're going to be putting dots for corners and things like that. Kind of outlining it in dots. Okay, so now I'm just going to start making dots where the corners will be. And anytime you go in a curve, you have to kind of make it into a new dot. If it's a straight line, you can put it at the corners. And these will be where you'll poke the holes later in your canvas once it dries. Now that you have all your dots done, you're going to connect them in a linear fashion, and it's going to be a little bit more boxy than the script that you're in right now. Okay, so now that you've got all of these, it's time to puncture all of the holes into your canvas. And it should be finished drying, so we're going to move on to that step now. Okay, so now, just like before, you're going to center your tape for where you want it. And make sure that it's exactly where you want it, because once you puncture the holes, you can't really redo it. So just double check that it's exactly where you want. And now we're going to take the painter's tape just like before. This is again why I recommend that you do the painter's tape and not just regular Scotch tape, but you can use Scotch tape if you like to. And then you're just going to tape it down like you did before. And again, this is just so it doesn't move when you're trying to puncture the holes into it. I would apply more tape this time just to make sure that it doesn't move. Try to get all the air out as well when you're doing this, because if it's really bumpy, then it's not going to work out well for you. So just kind of move that air around here. And make sure that you get the corners here as well. This one's really important because this is on your canvas, so it's really important that you make sure everything's lined up and good. And then just double check one more time that that's where you want it. And if it is, then you're ready. So now you're going to grab a push pin, and everywhere you made a dot, you can make the things. On sections like this right here, where you have a bunch of dots and you could just do one, maybe you think about limiting the number of dots that you have, because that's limiting the number of holes that you're going to have to go and weave in and out of. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, so now you can hold it up to the light and just kind of see if there's anything that you're missing, or if you want to like add or whatever, because you can see through the canvas there. Okay, now if you're satisfied with that, you're just going to take off these tape here. Just carefully make sure you don't tear the template. That way you can use it for next time, you know, if you have somebody that wants this painting, or you you know, you want to make it again somehow, you can keep that template. That way you don't have to do that whole process again, because it can take a little bit. Also, if you have the template, then you can make sure that when you're doing the string that you know what part you're at and what it's going to look like. So always keep the template. Okay, so now you're ready for the string part. I'm using this string here, and I'm going to be using this gray color at the bottom here because it'll show up really well on the canvas. I'm using some scissors just to cut off the little spindle for this particular color. I've got, I think, 3 packs of this color. You may not need that much. You should be fine with about 3. So now when you get it off the spindle, you're going to want to thread your needle. So you just go ahead and thread that. And again, I'm using a really large one. So this one is for Tapestry, and that string fits right into it. And you're going to want to have a wingspan because the amount of string that you're going to use is actually a lot more than you think it would be. So as long as you have about a wingspan or more, you'll be good for this part of the thread. And then you're going to take it and just tie a square knot, I think is what it's called, just a knot in the end of it, so that your thread is all good. And then you're just going to pick a starting spot. So for me, I'm just going to start with a J as well, and you're going to go from the bottom for this one, for your first one. You can see on here the dots, and then you're just going to start. But make sure that you start from the bottom so that the knot is in the back, so that your knot's in the back like this. And then you're going to go over to the next dot. And this is when your template comes in handy, just so you know which dot you're on. Pull it through, and your canvas is going to move a lot, but just try to do it as best as you can. So the next step, you go under to your next hole for the third hole. Pull it through, and then for this one you're going to go back through the second hole that you made, so that you get the string on the top, because otherwise you'd be missing half of your painting. So every time that you go through a new hole, you have to go back to the previous one from the top, and that's all you have to do. So when your string gets about this long, which is like maybe 3 or 4 inches, you're going to want to just cut it off already. Try to get it to where it's in the back, because that makes it easier for you. Just cut it down, and then you'll just take it and tie a knot, and tie a knot again, and then one more time. And then once you're done with that, you're going to want to take it and make sure that you get the string pretty close to your knots, so that it's just a little bit. Okay, so now that you have your needle threaded, you're just going to start in the next hole that you had and just keep on doing what you were doing before. Okay, so now that I've finished the string itself, I'm just going to go around the edges where this white is with the English navy. It's just like a darker color. Alright, and there you have it. Just keep swimming. That's the finished product. And you can make it your own, you know, you don't have to use those same colors or anything. You can do whatever kind of color you want to, so that's exciting. The project took me a little bit longer to do just because I started really late on the first day, but overall it takes about maybe 5 hours or so to do. The paint dries super quick, and like I said, you can get it at Walmart. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really happy to do this for you guys. If you want to see more like this, just let me know and I'll be happy to make more paintings and things like that. Let me know in the comments, and like, love, comment, subscribe, and share this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.